Good to see everyone coming on board. If you will do me a favor real quick, if you'll mute yourself and maybe we can mute everybody also. So Day, if you can help us out there in muting. I got to tell you, we got some exciting webinar now. I know you're waiting for the great Todd Denman and the great Sean Kokoska, talking to each other. I know that is what you are waiting for, but I got a few things to do first. First of all, let me just say this. I know Sean may not say it, but I'm going to say it about him. He's not feeling well, okay? Sean feels like he got hit by a Mack truck, and he's got this old nasty cold. You'll hear his, what's the deep singer? Barry who? What's his name? Barry who?
Barry White.
Barry White. You'll hear his Barry White voice today. And, so that'd be a good thing. And so anyway, what I want to say to you is that he's going to be going off and on sometimes with his, if you see him off, you don't want to see what he's doing. Okay. That's just all I'm saying. You just don't want to see it. So give him just a little bit of mercy on that. Now, also, I do want you to put a date down before I turn it over to Greg here from the Federal Savings Bank. And I like just saying that, Greg. I think that's pretty cool. It's like the Ohio State, right? I mean, okay, for you Michigan people, please don't leave. All right. I just threw that in there because that's what I hear sometimes. I'm not an Ohio State fan. But anyway, I do want to invite you to something. And Dave, if you'll put it over there really quick, Icon Coaching here. And I'm certainly one of the coaches and CEO of Icon Coaching. And we're always having training and webinars, okay? And we want to make sure that you're invited to these and everything we're doing. In light of the NAR ruling, okay, we know that there are people all over the speakers all over the country that are doing buyer, hang on just a minute, let me make sure I got it here. Buyer presentations, okay? Real buyer presentations. Now, these speakers have never ever done what Sean Kokoska has done. You're going to get a buyer's presentation, and Sean is actually going to do the presentation that he did that helped him close 100 transactions a year for 15 years straight. Come on, people. You got to sign up for that one too. So make sure that you over into the chat. I think probably Day has already put it over there. It says 20-point buyer presentation, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you have that. This is Monday, by the way, Monday at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, okay? 8:30 Mountain, 7:30 Pacific. So wake up, Pacific people, and come and be part of this. Now, without further delay, and by the way, if you stay to the whole time, let me tell you a couple of other things real quick. If you stay to the whole time and we capture you at the very end, you will get 30 days free of Land Voice. Get those expireds and for sale by owners and the neighborhoods. You get those every day. And boy, it is just absolutely incredible. And last but not least, the great Sean Kokoska is going to be talking to you about coaching. And get this, we have something special. First of all, you get a free coaching session with Sean, okay? A free coaching session with Sean. And not only that, but get ready, it is a whole new concept where you're not having to pay every single month. So just be patient with that. Now, without further delay, I want to introduce, Greg with the Federal Savings Bank. He's going to talk to you for just a couple of moments about an opportunity that you're going to have. And then we're going to bring on Crystal with ACN that's also going to talk to you about an opportunity. So go ahead, Greg, take it over.
Before you start, Greg, let me just say one thing. I want you all to lean in right now. I want you to lean into what Greg has to say, because this is a massive opportunity for each and every one of you to add a line extension to your current business strategy that's going to bring thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to the bottom line. So lean in, pay attention. Greg, take it away.
Well, thank you, Sean. Thank you for everyone at Icon Coaching and the audience for being on the call today. So in 2022, at the end, the Federal Housing Finance Agency and FHA came out with a new ruling. And in that ruling, they made it legal for a real estate agent to represent on the real estate side and on the mortgage side. And the first company to come to market with it really aggressively was Rocket Mortgage. And they blasted it out there. They're going to change the world, hire every real estate agent across the country, and everyone's going to make a ton of money. They closed that division about 6 months ago. And what they learned was the barrier to entry for a very high producing real estate agent could be too high. They were expecting agents to take a 20-hour course, study 20 hours for a test that has a 35% pass ratio. Now, there is one caveat to having to take that state test and the 20-hour course. That's if you're partnered with a federally chartered bank. So I represent the Federal Savings Bank, which is a federally chartered bank, and we've been able to reduce that barrier of entry to the right real estate partners that we're working with. Now, there were three basic things that we were trying to accomplish as we put together this program. It's one, how do we compensate a real estate agent on the mortgage side? Number two, and probably the most important, how do you do it compliantly? So how do you do it within RESPA tolerance, because RESPA governs your side of the business as well as our side of the business. And then number three, making sure that you have an extremely high level of customer service and that the agent has control of the transaction when and if they ever need it. And I'm happy to say we've been able to execute on that at a very high level. And we've had a ton of success with agents that we've brought onto our platform. Those agents we call real estate bankers, and they're involved from the mortgage side with limited time investment so they can legally be compensated on the mortgage transactions. Really quickly, when we bring someone onto our platform, we have them go to a one-day training course that's approved by the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Once we've licensed you under the federal bank charter, you're now licensed nationally. So if you have a buyer that you're working with currently, you simply on your phone refer them over in a compliant fashion. From there, a senior banker takes over the transaction and they handle 95% of the work, if not 98% of the work from there. Under no circumstances do we have any of our real estate bankers negotiating interest rates, collecting documents, none of that. You're assigned to a pod, and a pod of people to include that senior mortgage banker who's going to serve as the buffer between you and the buyer or the customer, along with a processor, closer, and really the process that you're accustomed to. I'm happy to say with the people that we've brought on board, we've been able to create an income opportunity for some people of $20,000 a year, and some of the new people that we brought on based on the amount of business that they do. Some of these people are going to earn $100,000 as a result of doing this program. So it's a little bit more in depth. I don't want to take up too much time on the call, but I'd encourage everyone to scan the QR code that I'm going to put into the chat. And when you scan that QR code, it's a simple registration form. You select Sean Kokoska as the referrer. We've set up a unique platform and a really special concierge type of platform to try to help lead everybody down the path of assistance that are on this phone call. So that's what I got, Sean.
You're muted, Sean. You're muted.
Greg, thank you so much, buddy. I just love the fact that you're bringing an opportunity to agents that's a natural line extension that will help them add dollars to the bottom line to improve their net income, their net worth, and enhance their ability to ultimately retire, because there's also potentially a revenue share portion of this that we've talked about in the past. And I want to learn more about that. In fact, Greg, we might want to do a separate webinar where you just get to do the deep dive. On this webinar, I give you 3 to 5 minutes and you get to kind of expose people to it, create awareness. Yet those of you that are interested in adding money to your bottom line, just ring out every transaction, get every dollar you possibly can to provide for yourself and your loved ones at a very high level. I would encourage you to plug into that. So look forward to some future correspondence, and let's make that happen.
Appreciate that, Sean.
No, it's my pleasure, Greg, and I can't wait to do that with you. Next, we're going to bring on Crystal Wise. She's with ACN, and this is yet another opportunity. See, here at Icon Coaching, our mission is to add money to your bank account, to help you get as much out of your business as you possibly can in the hours that you choose to invest in your work life. So today, we brought 2 natural line extensions to what you do day in and day out, that if you gave it just a little bit of energy, just a little bit, that you're going to increase your income, you're going to increase this residual, this passive income in the process to where, yeah, transactional income, that's fantastic, no doubt. We love transactional income. Trust me, I've made millions and millions of dollars selling real estate. Yet the challenge with that is that that income is short-lived. I think you guys would agree with that. You close a listing, you close a buyer, you spend the money, and when do you have the opportunity to earn their business? Again, it's probably 7 or 8 years down the road. Yet what Crystal's going to talk about is a way to increase monthly, just passive income that shows up in your account, whether you sell real estate or not. So Crystal, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sean. What a great lead in, because that's exactly, guys, I was a realtor for 22 years and I didn't want to die with a lockbox in my hand. And, we all work for every one of those closings. We better have another one in the pipeline coming down, because that is our bread and butter. Well, I was introduced to a company that offers concierge service. I mean, we're all natural connectors, aren't we? As realtors, that's what we do. We hook people up for whatever they need, their services, their mortgage people. Great job, Gregory. So this is a concierge service. Let me ask most of you on here, as 1099ers, do you have health care? The average answer to that across the board is most 1099ers don't, because it just costs too much in the marketplace with your big boys. This concierge service, our flagship business right now and the most lucrative, is Impact Health Sharing. It's an alternative to traditional overpriced insurance. And that, though, is just one of the services. J. Paul Getty, you probably have heard this quote before. I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts versus 100% of my own. And that is so true in real estate, because we all know, you must have multiple divisions and diversity here. Leverage. I can't wait to hear about the leverage that we're about to learn about. So with this concierge service, it is about Health Share is one product, but services, the things we do already as realtors. People ask us, where do I get my power? Where do I get my internet? Where do I get, this? This is a one-stop shop, like an Amazon of services. You can tie it to your CRM. You can build it different ways. You can just share the website. And buyers and sellers are able to go to that. And that is another way, we're all taught, stay in front of your people, stay in front of your people, always make sure they can find you. Well, by offering this service and going in with them on the side here, you're actually going to be in forefront. They're going to remember you when they pay that Spectrum bill, that Vivid Home Security, all of the different services. So having said that, I'm not going to break down every service. I'm just going to say that this has been an add-on for me with really no extra work. It's the things I'm already doing anyway in transactions. So why not be able to add income value to what I'm doing already? So I am a regional coordinator with this company, and Sean is on my team. And if you join to choose us, I would be able to put you on Sean's team. And again, this is the power of leverage and the power of residual income, of doing it once and then getting paid month after month. So I don't have a fancy QR code, Gregory, or anything, but I can drop my email here if you want, Sean, or tell me the best way to do that if people want to reach out to me. Yeah.
Sorry, I generally don't have to mute myself, but I'm sniffling and sneezing and coughing and all that stuff. But yeah, just go ahead and drop your email right into the chat if you don't mind, Crystal. And guys, I just encourage you, reach out, investigate this opportunity. It's just going to bring more residual and passive income in your family. Now, a lot of you are hung up on money right now, and I totally get that. I used to be there. Well, all of these neuro associations that we have to the word money. In fact, you could finish my sentences right now. It doesn't grow on what?
Trees.
It doesn't grow on trees. You can't take it. Come on, somebody speak up.
With you.
You can't take it with you. The love of money is the root of all
evil.
And I'm sure you have other phrases around money. See, a lot of people think that in order to make a lot of money, you have to step on people. You have to be kind of a jerk to make that much money. No, you don't. And there are ways to do this, and this is what Icon Coaching is all about. Guys, we want to bring you massive opportunities to add value to your family through monetary gain. Now, money's good for the good it can do. Let's agree with that. It's not all about money, yet you can do a lot of really good things with a lot of money. Heck, Mother Teresa loved money so much that she would beg for it. And yet, what did she do with it? Did she go out and buy a Lamborghini? Did she buy a private jet? No. she helped a lot of people with that money. So what I want to do is I just want you to maybe shift that mindset a little bit. I want you to raise that financial thermostat. I want you to just engage in what we're bringing to light such that you can just add more money every single month to the bottom line and help those around you in a powerful way. Now, with all of that said, I am fired up today, you guys. Fired up. I'm bringing a gentleman to this call that is going to just add so much value to you as it relates to your models, your systems, your technology, the people that you choose to engage with, hierarchy, org chart, compensation models, retention strategies, reproduction strategies, recruiting strategies. I mean, this is going to be a jam-packed, full of just nuggets, golden nuggets of information for each and every one of you. So without any further delay, I want to introduce one of my personal coaching clients. His name is Todd Denman. I mean, he went from being a solo agent around 10 million in sales volume to this year having over 22 agents on his, well, is it 22 or 23 now? I can't remember. 22 or 23 agents on his team.
23.
23 and 6 support staff. And tell us, what is the sales volume going to be this year, Todd? What's the trajectory?
We are humbly on track to do 240 million in sales.
Bravo. Almost $6 million in GCI, you guys. Again, here's what I want you to do. I want you to lean in. I want you to give him your full, undivided attention. And I'm going to ask some questions. By the way, let's all practice this right now. If you choose to, you can go down to the React button at the bottom of your screen. It's a heart shape. And if you click React, then you can go ahead and raise your hand. There's that wide bar at the bottom. It says raise hand. If you have a question for me or Todd or anybody else on this call, just go ahead and raise your hand. All right. And don't worry, interrupt us. It's okay. This is going to be kind of a mastermind format of a webinar. It's going to be very purposed for podcasts, YouTube videos. We're going to put it out on social media channels, everything that we possibly can do to just impact our community in such a powerful way and raise the professionalism. So Todd, let's kind of rewind the tape a little bit, okay? Because you and I, we got into a coaching relationship, about 4 years ago? And tell us, where were you then? What did that look like? What did it feel like? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, before I answer that question, I just want to say it's really humbling to be in this room right now because this could come off as a sales pitch for Icon Coaching, but I was a solo agent 5 years ago selling 28 houses a year. Just like Sean said, in 2019, I did 19 million in sales and brought in just around 377,000 in GCI. And that wasn't long after, for some of you who have been associated with KW or are associated with KW now, Rob Daniels was my bold coach. And I was an agent on a team then. And I'm so grateful for the journey that I've been on, because it's been a journey for me from solo agent on a team, solo agent again, and then I've been able to grow the team to where it is today. And I just can't stress enough that it wouldn't be without the people that have paved the way before me that led me to get to this point. I mean, one of the best pieces of advice I got in my first year in this business was the book's already been written on how to do this well. Figure out where you want to go and where you want to take this business and what it means to you, and then find someone that's already there. And success leaves clues. Figure out what they've done to get there and start putting one foot in front of the other. And having Sean as my coach, when I left the real estate team that I was on and started my team in 2019, I knew I was going to need help because it was just me. And so having been exposed to Sean Kokoska and Rob Daniels in the KW world, I knew that they were going to be some of the best resources for me I knew I wanted to grow a big team. And so I remember making that phone call to you, Sean, while you were in the airport. And I knew that if I could get a coach with as much experience and a track record as he did, I would have the wind beneath my wings. And boy, was I right. And so I'm really, again, this is not a sales pitch. I'm really, and I know I say this to you privately, Sean, but I'm grateful for all that you've done for me. So my goal today is in the next 40 minutes that I'm able to be vulnerable with you all and share the highs, the lows, the struggles that I went through to get to where I am and where I'm headed. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive in.
Right on. So how many of you guys want to figure out what's working in today's market? Yeah. How many of you want to figure out what's not working in today's market? See, the smart person learns from their own failures, right? And the smarter people, well, you know, they learn from the failures of others. And so Todd's going to be very vulnerable. He's going to tell you what works, what doesn't work. And I think the smartest people of all, as Todd alluded to, is they study the successes of those that have gone before them. And guys, I'm here to tell you, I've been through thick and thin with Todd. I've seen his P&Ls. I've seen him, you know, on the top of the mountain, and I've seen him stressed out about how he's going to pay all of his staff 1 month. Because oftentimes when we choose to leverage through people and we choose to leverage through technology, we feel like we're taking one step back to take, you know, 5 giant leaps forward. And Todd's going to share that information with you. So Todd, let's rewind the tape again. You're a solo agent. You're struggling with, you know, you had 2 new babies, right? And so you're struggling with family, you're struggling with business, you're doing everything all by yourself. And you recognize that in order to move forward, to get to a higher level of production, well, you've got to leverage off what we call the 80% work, right? I'm talking about Pareto's principle. The 80% work is things like creating a brochure, ordering photography or staging, or, you know, just all that stuff that needs to be done, yet it doesn't necessarily move the needle for your bank account balance, right? So the 20% effort, guys, it's just 5 things: is practice, lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. And those of you who have figured out how to give an inordinate amount of time to those 5 things, you're the ones that are going to double, triple, quadruple your production, real estate sales year after year, just like Todd. So Todd, what was that point of realization for you that, you know, maybe you needed a little help?
I would say, so I very clearly remember. So for those of you who don't know my story, I grew up with a contractor for a father, blue collar. I did a lot of grunt work for him, really learned the value of real estate investing through watching my dad build. But my father, sadly, his business never grew beyond just him. And so I watched my father struggle 7 days a week to put food on the table for our single income earning family. And I knew I wanted to do something differently there. And so fast forward to I want to say it was my 5th year in the business. And it was probably 6 months after I started coaching with Sean that I'm a workaholic. I'm sure a lot of you on this call work many hours, 6 days a week, 7 days a week while you're on vacation. I was there. I've been there for multiple decades. And it wasn't until, so we had 1 child at the time, Charlie, he was 3. And it wasn't until my wife announced that she was pregnant with twins. And I was also running a successful development company at the time. I was renovating about, you know, it was more of a side gig, but I was doing 2 to 3 projects a year. And I had 3 projects under renovation. And my wife tells me she's pregnant with twins. And I remember Sean having a very, very sobering talk with me. He said, Todd, if you don't do something differently. So this is me selling 30 houses a year, renovating 3 properties with soon to be 3 kids. Sean said, if you don't leverage through technology, people, and systems, you're going to crash and burn. And so that was really the moment where I had to ask myself, do I want to be my dad and work 7 days a week and not want to be around for my family? Or do I want to build a business that actually serves the ideal lifestyle that I want to have? And also, I want to have the choice down the road to retire at some point. And I mean, there's a really sad joke in this business that there are no retirement parties for real estate agents. That's a pretty sad reality. And so that was it. So Sean, I mean, it was really, I'd been exposed to the team concept before. So I knew that there were a lot of people out there running really successful teams. And for those of you who are new to this, you know, a team is a group of agents. Could be 2 agents, it could be, you know, 100 agents and support staff. And so Sean really helped me make those first couple hires that really enabled me to take my business to the next level at the same time as spend some time with my my twins. And I wish I had a photo, but if you guys go on my Instagram at Todd Denman and scroll back to 2019, you can literally see me covered in children. So, yeah, it was a rough time for me. Needless
With
to
the
say.
for sale sign in your other hand, right? All right. Hey, we do have a question, so I'm going to interrupt the flow just for a moment. David, take it away, man.
Hi, David Offutt, great state of Massachusetts. I had a question, Sean. You mentioned the 5 things that we should be focused on. Of course, it's a follow-up, it's business growth. Can you repeat those 5 things?
Certainly. Well, I think first, number one, guys, you've got to know what to say. You got to know how to say it. See, there's 3 things you can, in fact, control in real estate sales. It's what you say, how you say it, and then finally, how many people you say it to. So to me, the number one priority, and I don't care if you're a 35-year veteran or you're brand new to real estate, it's practice. So let's agree that practice isn't something we did, it's something we do to consistently refine our ability to say what we need to say and how we need to say it to really influence people. This is not manipulation. This is simply sales, right? So number one is practice. Number 2, lead generation. As I said, you have to say it to enough people. Right, how many of you guys on this call, show me your hands. Do you want more appointments? Yes or yes? How many of you want more appointments? Well, all you need to do is create more conversations. Even a salesperson without a ton of skill, if they talk to enough people, gang, they're gonna set more appointments. Now, you also have to be open to feedback, by the way, through this process. So it's not about repetition, it's about evaluated repetition, in my opinion. Like the archer that misses the bullseye, well, they're going to turn and look for fault within themselves. So I missed to the left this time, I better aim to the right. So we must be coachable through this part of the process. And just like, for example, my wife just came into my office and said, sounds like you're yelling at them. I said, no, I'm just trying to amp myself up because I feel like I got hit by a truck. And so I'm just trying to bring the energy today, right? So nevertheless, number 3 is lead follow-up. And you guys you've heard it said so many different ways that the fortune is in the follow-up. It's the prospector that can move the most dirt that's going to find the veins of gold. So these 3 things to me are AM tasks. Knock it out first thing in the morning when your willpower is high as it's going to get. Just knock it out, which means that you don't have home inspections, showings, listing appointments, final walkthroughs, or even closings before 12 o'clock. See, it's those of you who can tie block from 8:30 a.m. till 12 p.m. And then at 12 p.m., once you've done your practice, your lead gen, your lead follow-up, the afternoon is going to take care of itself all on its own, which is going on appointments and negotiating contracts. So just, it really boils back down to time blocking, because time is the only inventory you have in this business. Oh no, Sean, I'm carrying 15 listings. That's my inventory. No, your inventory is time. And where you choose to invest that time is going to set the trajectory of your career. Now, thanks to like Crystal Wise at ACN, thanks to Greg over at the Federal Savings Bank. Sorry, I had a mind fart there for a second. Yet, thanks to these people, they're going to help you create time abundance. Okay. And I'm after time abundance at this point in my career, guys. I've been doing this for 33 years. I want time abundance to do what I want, when I want, where I want. And it's companies like ACN. It's companies like the Federal Savings Bank. It's companies like Icon Coaching. They're going to help you get to that point. There's no doubt about that. So Todd, a few other questions. Let's go ahead and fast forward the tape. And I'm dating myself with the word tape, aren't I? Okay. So with that said, let's fast forward a little bit. One of the biggest moves that you had made in the growth of your team was through acquisition. You found somebody who's nearing the age of retirement. As you said, when's the last time you went to a realtor's retirement party, right? So we talked about a model that would enable you to allow this individual to retire by, bringing her, what was it, 90 million in sales volume or 60 million? I can't remember the exact number. Over your team, along with all the agents, and really adhere to your system, because nothing against her. I think she's a fantastic person, yet she was kind of running the business kind of loosey-goosey a little bit, right? Meaning she didn't have job description contracts. It was She negotiated the commission splits on every deal with every one of her agents. And she was after that structure. She was after that leadership and management for her team members. So number one, how did you identify this individual who wanted to essentially sell their team?
Great question, Sean. I wish I could say that it was more purposeful. What I would say, though, to add a piece of advice, is that luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, right? And if we are, so just write that down. Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. Now, a concept that keeps running through my head as I hear Sean talk is the concept of being an individual contributor versus running a business. Most of us got into this business because we wanted to have time flexibility. We wanted to do what we want to do when we want to do it. And what happens to most of us, because we deeply care about our clients and we've got to operate within the craziness that is the real estate world, we end up becoming beholden to our clients' needs, the new listings, the shiny objects that are happening. And that can become a spiral that ends up taking you years down the road without lifting your head up. And so really starting to think about, I think it's about reversing and thinking big about what is it that I want out of this business, and then starting to take the steps forwards towards building a business where the income that you would like to make is not beholden to you getting up every day and opening doors. So remind me what the question was, Sean.
Yeah. So how did you identify this individual? You said it was somewhat fortuitous. It just kind of happened, right?
Yeah. Well, so to back up, thank you for reminding me. The reason I had that opportunity in front of me is because I had a bigger vision of what I was doing, and I had made 2 key hires already. I had made an executive assistant hire to help me with my email, event planning, all the transaction coordination. Those are the first hires that I put into place, and they were on salary. And that actually bought me back some time to work with more clients. And it enabled me to be more present in the office day to day. Because again, my head wasn't down focusing on, putting documents and filing paperwork and all that stuff that comes with selling real estate. And it was me being in the office and being social and connecting and networking with the other agents in the office that led me to Lisa, who is a 27-year veteran agent, one of the most highly respected agents in all of Greater Boston. And just like Sean said, she was getting to a point where she was like, I love helping clients. I'm not so in love with managing. And can we talk? I'm watching what you're doing with your business. I'm impressed with it. Is there something that we can do here? And so I was not going about growing my business through acquiring other teams. It was merely that I saw opportunity and I was prepared for it. And I luckily had Sean as my coach, because he helped me identify how important this opportunity was for me. And then because I had hired agents and admin at that time, I had the time to put into putting that deal together with Lisa. It actually took us 1.5 years to come to an agreement. We met every week for 1.5 years. It was such an important thing to navigate with her and for my own business, because I had agents, she had agents, et cetera. So yeah, I would say just taking some of the busy work, if you will, off my plate through leverage really enabled me to see that opportunity for what it was.
No doubt. And you were able to bring structure to that organization, which is fantastic. And, Lisa, good for her. She's able to kind of step back and focus what she wants to focus on, right? And so, I didn't mean for it to come across anything negative against Lisa. I mean, she was crushing it. Undoubtedly, she was killing it. And yet she wanted a way out of all of that management, all the headache. And Todd had the structure and the models and the systems and the technology in place to help them achieve a much higher level of production. So you've recently made another acquisition, haven't you?
Yeah. So when Sean helped me navigate the merger with Lisa's team successfully, we just saw what a wonderful value add that was for me, for Lisa, for her clients, for my clients, because, you know, as you grow and scale a business, you're able to add more resources. We now have a marketing department of 2 people. We have a runner who runs around and installs booties, sign writers, delivers all types of things for us so that we're not doing that. And then we've got a wonderful director of operations who helps us with our CRM management, getting listings ready to go on the market. So it's just doing this stuff on our own. We all have strengths and weaknesses, right? And if we try to be a jack of all trades, well, what do we end up being?
Master of none, no doubt about that. All right,
That's
so
right.
I want to talk about some basic fundamentals real quick, Todd. Number one, how do you maintain motivation? How do you stay motivated to consistently grow the team year after year?
What I would say, and this really does align with the business that I've built, is one of the most special things about this business is that, like I just said, we all have strengths and weaknesses. And typically the strengths that we have are aligned with our passions. For me, my personal mission statement is enriching lives through real estate. So I really want to help people, the clients, the team members, my colleagues. I want to help enrich their lives through real estate. And by enriching, I mean work-life balance, time with family, helping others. And so every day I'm highly motivated to see potential in other people and help them. And I know that might not be all of your passions, but what I would encourage you each to do is take some time to think about what is it that you did yesterday, last week, that really lit you up? What type of work do you do on a daily basis that really excites you? Because in all likelihood, you should build your business around that thing. And for me, I love coaching. I love pouring into people professionally, seeing potential in them and having them rise from that. And that's why I knew I wanted to have a big team, is I would prefer to do that over helping clients. I love my clients. I miss working with clients directly, but there's nothing I'd rather do every day than sit with an agent and talk about their business, figure out what headaches are in front of them, what successes they're having, and kind of help them work through that. So I wouldn't say I have to try too hard, Sean. I think every day, because of the way I've structured my business, I kind of hop out of bed. I'm not always like, Johnny on the spot coming out of my bed, but there's not a day I'm not thrilled to go to work today.
That's fantastic, man. Way to go. And what advice would you give to an agent who isn't thrilled about, maybe practicing, doing their lead generation or lead follow-up, and they're just kind of burned out? What advice would you have for them?
Well, I would say that in order for us to get to the place we want to get to, we do have to do things we don't want to do. And we have to put our clients' needs above our own. If I don't get up every day and motivate the agents on the team, motivate the staff on the team, in all likelihood, we're not all going to be rowing in the same direction. So I think the best thing that you could do is, again, take a step backwards, go get a hotel room, go for a walk, write down what it is you really wanted out of this business. So Sean has led me and my team through meditations where we really try to envision what our future could look like if there were no obstacles, right? So it's really about dreaming big and having that dream have a gravitational pull to do the things that you don't want to do every day. And I still do a lot of things that I don't want to do, but it's always with the bigger picture in mind. And it makes dealing with some frustrating situations a lot more sweet when you know that you're on track for something much bigger.
Well said, man. So if I boiled it down, it really starts with mission. Now, mission to me is, where am I going? Now, sadly, a lot of people, they don't really understand where they want to go. They understand short-term objectives, yet they fail to plan for future objectives. So mission is, where am I going? Vision is, here's what it looks like when I get there. And understanding what that's going to look like, what it feels like, to engage the emotion around the accomplishment of your mission and vision. And then, of course, identifying the values that are going to guide your decisions day in and day out, I think is critically important. If you choose to leverage through people and build a team, well, then you need your rules of engagement or beliefs, right? So how are we going to treat each other? And what are some simple phrases and statements like win, win, or no deal? And I'm stealing a lot of this from Keller Williams because I helped create a lot of it, no doubt about that. Yet integrity, do the right thing. I mean, these are beliefs that are going to drive your organization forward. It's going to solve a lot of problems, no doubt. Yet, guys, I would encourage you to, number one, identify what you want. See, if you had the time and you took the time and you asked 100,000 people what their definition of success is, like I have, you're going to end up with around 100,000 different definitions. You guys with me? So it's really hard to kind of get our minds around and our arms around am I a success? I mean, what does success look like? What does it feel like? And so if you go to web search, you just look up the word, it's getting what you want. Not what I think you should want, or what Todd thinks you should want. It's getting what you want at the end of the day. So it really starts there. What do you want? Then I would encourage you to reverse engineer it. Say, okay, 10 years down the road, I want to be closing 1,000 transactions a year. I want, 250 people on my team, whatever that vision is. Maybe, and again, it's getting what you want. I don't care if you want to close 2 transactions a year or 20 or 2,000 or 8,000, like some of my clients that are way up there in terms of number of deals. Yet understanding that and then reverse engineering it. So based on this 10-year vision, where must I be in the next 5 years to be on track to accomplish the 10-year vision? Based on the 5-year vision, where do I need to be in 3 years to be on track to hit the 5-year vision and the someday vision? Based on the 3-year benchmarks, where do I need to be in the next year, the next 6 months, the next quarter, the next month, the next week, or even today or right now? What is that logical step for you to take along that trend line? Now, for many of you, you may be in a position that maybe you want some help. Maybe you want to align with somebody who's been there and done that, who can read the label of the bottle that you're stuck inside of. It's hard to read the label when you're stuck inside the bottle. You guys with me, right? And so, Rob and I have been brainstorming about what I call results-driven coaching. It's a predicated model, meaning in traditional coaching, and I've certainly been associated with this side of our industry for decades, yet in traditional coaching, you're going to pay a flat fee for coaching, and you're going to pay it whether you produce or not. Generally speaking, you get locked into a 1-year contract, and you get to pay that whether it's $800 a month, $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,500 a month, whatever that number is, you're locked in and you get to pay that whether you produce or not. So Rob and I have come up with a model, guys, that I think is going to be really disruptive to our industry and in coaching and training, consulting, to where it's predicated coaching, meaning that you don't pay for coaching unless you produce. And we've come up with different tiers based on your last 12 months production. Like if you're 3 to 5 million, by the way, our split would be 80-20 before company dollar. It'd be a referral fee that you pay to Icon Coaching. Now, once you achieve 5 to 10 million, well, that drops to 10%. 10 million to 20 million, it drops to 5%. 20 million to 30 million, it's 2.5%. 30 million plus, it's 1.5%. So it's just a simple referral fee that's totally tax deductible, and it caps at a fee of $18,000 per year. So once you pay to Icon $18,000, then we're going to continue coaching you free of charge until your cap resets, and it does reset on an annualized basis. So again, if you don't produce, you don't pay for coaching. And I think that's how it should be. And I've thought this for decades, that that's how it should be. Yet everybody is pushing back on me. No, it's up to the person that's being coached to take the actions. Well, that's true. Yet here's the point. I can fire you if you're not doing the work. Okay. So I see a Zoom user. I don't see a name, but I do see a hand up. So take it away. There we go.
Yes, hello. So
Hello.
I'm listening here and I'm totally blown away. And I know, Sean, I've been watching you through Icon Coaching, and I took some of your coaching in the past, but I love that structure of coaching. Hopefully my phone won't die while I'm talking. And I absolutely would love to take advantage of it. I think this is a great opportunity. I'm ready for growth. I think it's a perfect storm in the marketplace to do so. And I didn't break 10 million yet. I'm definitely in the first tier, on the 5 million still, and would love to be able to double my first goal, right? Get to 10 million and dream big, because I would love to have a team one day, which is big, and be able to give back to the community.
I love it. Okay, so there's a couple of caveats I just want to mention real fast, and I'm going to put my scheduling link into the chat bar so that you can just self-schedule a time that is convenient for you, and you'll know that I'm available as well. Yet, one caveat is that in order to qualify for this predicated coaching model or results-driven coaching, you have to have closed over the last 12 months at least 3 million in sales volume. Okay.
Yes, I did.
So as long as you meet that criteria, that's the only criteria, by the way, other than being coachable, willing to take massive action, that you're a good decision maker, meaning when you have all the necessary information, you can take quick action, because the difference between extraordinary success and below average results is simply speed of implementation. At the end of the day, Todd will tell you the same thing. The faster you implement, the faster you can fail forward. See, that's the secret, right? And Todd will tell you the exact same thing. Individuals who achieve high levels of sales volume and financial gain, well, they just simply fail faster than everybody else. And in so doing, they find what works faster than everyone else. And when they find that strategy, that tactic that works, and they're getting a significant ROI on their investment, well, then it's about scalability. I mean, how do we add additional time, money, energy, resources, people, whatever it takes? Let's scale that out, okay? So with that said, if you're 3 million or above in sales volume and you're interested in predicated coaching or results-driven coaching, I'm just posting my scheduling link to the chat right
I've been
now.
consistently close to 5 million for the last 3 years, and I just cannot break that. And I feel I'm stuck. And of course, this market is not really helping me. And I know that it can be done, but I feel I definitely could use some guidance.
I love it. Absolutely. And by the way, when you engage in this program, guys, you're going to get access to everything that we have to offer, from our learning management system with literally thousands of videos, webinars, scripts, dialogues, objection handlers, compensation models, hierarchy org charts, you name it, it's all there for you. Job description contracts, all of it. So Rob, take it away.
Yeah, you know something, I want to let everybody know, and I know people are beginning to jump off because, again, they're not interested in coaching, but I hope the people that are here will hear this out. I do know a coaching company, a big coaching company, that has lost 2,000 clients in the last couple of years. 2,000. They've gotten out of coaching. And why? Because they just could not, the way that things are in this world today, they just couldn't afford to pay it every single month. And of course, we all know that coaching is one of the first things that you take out, right? Even though you shouldn't, we know it is. That's why Sean and I, brainstormed this thing and said, my gosh, people have been saying we should only have to pay if the coach really helps us produce. And so that's what we, especially Sean, have come up with, to be able to say, if you don't produce, the coach doesn't get anything, but we'll keep coaching because it's our job to help you in getting production, just like Sean did with Todd. Okay, so this is going to be revolutionary. If you want to be one of the first ones, by the way, I don't know if I can say this, Sean, you can tell me no on this. We are only going to take 20, at this time between now and the end of the year. So if you'd like to be one of these and like to be that part of this, Sean's got his schedule over into the chat right now. Go grab it. Fill him up with a free coaching call. Work this guy, using, and hear what he has to say, because I can tell you, this is going to be revolutionary, and you only pay if you produce. Sean?
Thank you, Rob. All right. So I don't want to make this a commercial about Icon Coaching. I really don't. I want to make this about Todd Denman. And Todd, we understand how growth actually works, right? Where it's like a hockey stick on its side, where it's gradually at first and then boom, it's suddenly, right? And what was that boom moment for you?
what was that boom moment for me?
Yeah, where it was just going along gradually. I mean, you hired Alex, you hired your transaction coordinator, your ops manager, and then all of a sudden it just took off. What was the catalyst behind that?
Yeah, I would say there's a concept, the red light, green light concept, that's you want to be bringing in enough money to afford the salaries that you need to pay out. I actually found in my own experience that making my first hire at, I want to say that I was paying my first executive assistant 75,000. That was a huge, I'm sure a lot of you on this call right now are solo agents who have thought about making a salaried hire, but you're fearful of having to pay that person and having that person dependent on you. For me, and this is the type of person I am, as soon as I made that hire, that motivated me every day to make sure that I was successful for that person. Fast forward quite a bit, as my sales grew, the agents I added to the team, the amazing support staff that we had, and I've got a couple of them on the call right now. Our director of sales and our director of operations are on the call, and they are absolutely running things now. I would say that it was a very, very challenging growth period until I got them. And so basically, we've got 23 agents that are reporting to our director of sales and business development, Don Mancello, and then our staff are all really orbiting around Haley, our director of operations, who really keeps things orderly then. And so I would say, in terms of that, the moment where I felt like a huge breath of fresh air and that the sky was the limit even more than ever before was the moment that I had them in place. And we are just bringing on, I mean, we brought on 2 agents this week. And I think a really exciting moment for me was last week. I, just like you, Sean, and this is another pitch for leveraging and growing a real estate business, is I ended up coming off of a vacation with COVID and was not able to be in the office for almost 10 days. And we had a really important team meeting last week. And we were also seeing our director of marketing off to her wedding. And I was like, shoot, like, I'm not going to be able to do this. And within a moment's notice, I'm texting our director of operations, Haley, who's on the call today, and just saying, hey, I can't really lead this meeting. And just who you surround yourself with, you're having a massive real estate business is more than just you. And I think that that's really important. It's really who you associate yourself with, associating yourself with people that are smarter and better than you are at the many different things that this business requires. And I have to say, like, I was blown away last week when I joined the meeting virtually with my camera off, kind of like Sean's doing today. And I didn't say a thing in this meeting with 30 people, and this amazing going away party for our director of operations went off better than if I was there. And to me, that is just the mark of success, in my opinion. Is I don't want to grow a big business so that I go away, but being able to grow a big business so that I can attend to my own health or be there for my children is really a wonderful thing. And so I would think about that yes, there are pain points in growing a business, whether it's making a hire, paying a salary, dealing with client issues, but the freedom that you can have is paramount. I would challenge you all today to take a look at what your income was last year, excuse me, and then how much you worked on average every week. Really determine, even though you're a 1099, an independent contractor in most cases, what did you earn on an hourly basis last year? And once you determine what your hourly income is, then you can start to make some important decisions. If you're making $50 an hour, $60 an hour, should you really be the one that's installing the sign? Should you really be the one that's going out and coordinating the photos? There are different tasks that you can be doing, just like Sean said, that are worth more money to you in your business. So I recommend doing that exercise because it's really illuminating. And quite frankly, it's the exercise I use with my wife when I don't want to clean our house. I'm like, Babe, I really need to be out there selling real estate. I can't be cleaning the house. We can clean the house for $100. So I use it at home too.
So finish the sentence, Todd. It's who, not
you.
there you go. So think about who can do that with you or for you, such that you can increase your ability to focus on the 5 things we talked about earlier: practice, lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. Now, Todd's risen to the level that, he'll practice with his agents. I know he'll do that. Yet he doesn't necessarily do the lead generation anymore. He doesn't necessarily do the lead follow-up anymore. He definitely doesn't go on appointments anymore. And he doesn't also negotiate contracts unless he has to be pulled in a kind of an escalated situation or something like that. So it's giving him time abundance, guys, to do the things he wants to do when he wants to do it. So guys, I just encourage you, keep plugging into these webinars where we just have a couple of quick minutes. If you have a burning question for Todd, go ahead and use the reactions bar and raise your hand, and we'll get your question asked and answered. Go ahead. All right, gang, you've got a guy who's doing 5 to 7 million in GCI every single year, and next year projected to do over 9 million, right, Todd? So I would imagine you might have a question or two for him.
No question, Sean. I'm in. I'm with you, and I'm going to be Todd.
I love it, man.
I already got the kids piled on, so I'll be with Todd.
Right on. All right. Well, we're here to help you make that happen, no doubt about it. So look forward to next month's webinar, everybody. I'm going to bring in another special.
One quick thing. Can you put your Wednesday for agent attraction?
Yeah, my pleasure. Of course. You bet.
I've been looking for it for a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And I'll be able to post that here just momentarily. All right. Any other questions before I let you guys run?
Yeah, I'll just have a comment, Sean. I'd like to say, Todd, we celebrate your success and thank you for taking the time to share with us. It was extremely helpful for me. I'm in a different part of the business, but it was extremely helpful. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that, man. All right. And
I did have my hand up for another question.
Oh, go ahead, please. Takesha.
Hey, okay. So my one question is, when it was he was at, or I'm sorry, like he's not on the call. When you were at your lowest point and you were stressed out, how did you get yourself in the mental space? Besides Sean, how did you get yourself in the mental space to get back to where you needed to be to become a producer to get to where you are now?
Ooh, that's a great question. I've been in very, very challenging headspaces multiple times because of things happening in my personal life, things happening in my business. And I mean, I would say leaning on the people around me, my colleagues, my family, getting out and taking walks. For me, getting into nature really helps me calm down and have a bigger view. Oftentimes when we're dealing with something really stressful, we can kind of get blinders on and we can feel overwhelmed. And then that leads to paralysis analysis. And talking things through with people, oftentimes you can come up with a game plan and really prioritize what is the next step that I need to take. What can I do? Really get clarity around what can I do today, such that by doing it, it's going to move me towards getting out of the rut that I'm in. And once you start to have small wins in the direction of winning, you start to get a little bit more confident, a little bit less stressed out. But I would say that the anxiety and the stress never goes away, right? Because we always have things that we care about and things that are outside of our control. But how we deal with them, the tools in our tool belt are really, and I know you said, don't talk about Sean. I mean, I've called Sean numerous times where I'm like, I'm just like not having a good go right now. And he's really helped me. You know, sometimes it's just hearing me talk, right? Sometimes we just need to talk and feel like we're not alone. So is that helpful?
Very much so. I just said don't mention Sean because he's amazing within himself. So I can't give him any more credit than he already gets. So, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
You guys are both very, very kind. All right. So by the way, last thing, Rob had mentioned that we have a gift for you through landvoice.com/icon. So landvoice.com/icon, and you'll get 30 days of their pro level of data for free. For a full 30 days. Guys, this includes every for sale by owner in your market area, including name, address, email address, phone number, mobile phone number in many cases, every expired listing. I mean, it expires at midnight, and LandVoice is hard at work pulling it up for you, and you'll have that list first thing in the morning before 6 a.m. They'll give you the notice of default lists. They'll give you neighborhood data. Like, let's say you took a listing in the, I don't know, Westbrook subdivision, and you want the names and phone numbers and email addresses of all the homeowners in that neighborhood. All you have to do is go in and drop your pins around the Westbrook subdivision, and instantaneously, you're going to get all their phone numbers, email addresses, names, their property address. That way you can do your circle prospecting at a very high level. So again, go to LandVoice, LAND, voice, voice.com/icon, and get that 30 days for free. Okay, check it out. Because everything starts with list building. Then it's a matter of, well, what am I going to do with the list? How am I going to add value to the people on this list? And how am I going to earn their business? Remember, the 3 things you can, in fact, control: what you say, how you say it, how many people you say it to. By the way, if you choose to do this, I'd also encourage you to go to iconcoaching.com, go to the resources tab, and you're going to find free for sale by owner scripts, objection handlers. You're going to find free expired scripts and objection handlers, as well as notice of default list scripts and objection handlers. So check that out. And by the way, there's so many more free things on the Icon website. I just encourage you to go check that out, you guys. And Todd, is there anything that maybe you wanted to bring to the call that I didn't ask you the right question for? Is there any parting words of wisdom for our attendees today?
I would just say, think about a way that you can invest in yourself, whether it be coaching, personal trainer, a therapist. You shouldn't really have a cap on a budget that you're contributing towards bettering yourself. And I would also just say, if you're in a rut, go out and help someone else. If you've probably heard Zig Ziglar, if we go out there and help, is it Zig Ziglar? If we go out there and help enough people, we'll get more than we ever imagined, right? So there's nothing that feels better than going out and helping someone that's in a rougher spot than you. So go out there and help someone that you could help, and then also help yourself as well. That's my advice.
Right on. Hey, by the way, those of you who have Amazon Prime, if you go to Amazon Prime and you type in Zig Ziglar, there's a documentary that was done on his life. And me and my 2 boys were fortunate enough to be interviewed on behalf of Zig after he'd passed on. And I'd encourage you to watch that movie. It is so motivational. It's so inspiring. And just check that out when you get a chance. All right, guys. Sadly, we've gone 5 minutes over. We could do this all day, right, Todd? There's so many things to talk about. So I want you to look forward to our next webinar. We're going to have another very special guest that is going to just pour into you guys and add value and just keep showing up to these things. Currently, we're doing this 1 time per month, yet we do intend to increase frequency next year. We're going to do it 2 times per month. So it'll be the first and third Thursday, first and third Thursday of every month, and look forward to increasing the frequency of these things so we can.
Yeah, Sean, and don't forget Sean's buyer presentation this Monday, and make sure you sign up for that. It's from 10:30 to noon. I believe I got that right. Make sure I do. Hang on just a minute. I think that's what I said. Yep, 10:30 to noon Eastern, 90 minutes. And I tell you, you're going to come away with being a better buyer agent than you've ever been. So make sure you're there. See you.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Thank you, guys. Until we talk again next time, just be on purpose, be productive, be powerful. Todd, you are the master. I'm just so grateful that you showed up today for us and just brought the heat, man. Way to go.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, everyone.